My tabletop role-playing game zine collection has been growing and growing, and my bookshelves are out of control, and it's way past time that I figured out a good way of organizing these zines, something better than cramming them between an old Nintendo and hardback books. Now, I've scoured the internet looking for the perfect zine holder for my collection, but I haven't found anything that works just right for me, so I got a few crafting supplies together and created my ideal zine box. Really simple, easy to make. I'm going to show you how to do it in this video, and I've even put together a free template for you to use. Alright, let's talk materials for this project. So the main thing, what I'm going to be constructing these zine holders out of, is called bookboard. It's like a thick sheet of cardboard paper. I've gotten myself a stack of black 50-point bookboard. 50 points like how thick it is. I think that's somewhere in between like a millimeter or two. I've also got my trusty 2-inch wide black masking tape. I'm going all black on these zine holders. I think you could get away with 1-inch masking tape, but 2-inch is going to be better, especially for this 2-inch wide design that I've got going. And the real important thing to remember is to get masking tape, not gaffer's tape. So gaffer's tape doesn't stick to itself. Masking tape does, and that's like the key to this whole project. Okay, you're also gonna need a good cutting mat, a sharp hobby knife or X-Acto blade. I super suggest you get a metal ruler with a cork backing on it. This Yoder ruler is one that I borrowed from my friend David Yoder in college and have been using it ever since. I just never gave it back, probably like almost 20 years ago. Sorry about that, David. Let me know if you want your ruler back. You're also gonna need a good pair of scissors and a nice sharp pencil. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the construction of this box. So my first attempt, as you can see, was pretty wide, and then the sides were really low. So the zines in here could kind of flop around, and it didn't feel sturdy. Also, I mentioned that gaffer tape. I used that, and it super doesn't stick. So this thing just isn't quite as sturdy as I want it to be. So I redesigned my template. I made the walls of the box higher, and then it's a little thinner, but this thing still holds like 10 to 15 zines in it. So it's nice and sturdy, and I'm gonna be able to make a bunch of these and stack them next to each other to house my entire zine collection. So the template is really simple. It's just 2 sheets of paper that you print out. It's got all the measurements on there and everything, and really you're just gonna cut along the outside line, like cut the shape out of the piece of paper. So don't cut the inside lines. Those are for scoring. You'll see how all of that works later. My idea with this template is that all 5 sides of the zine holder would be connected in these 2 shapes. If I could have gotten it on 1 sheet of the bookboard, it would have been even better and even sturdier. But by having the different sides connected and not like a bunch of different pieces, it's gonna make your box way, way stronger. Okay, with the template cut out, I'm gonna line it up to the edge of the bookboard so there's fewer lines to cut, and just trace around the paper template directly onto the board with the pencil. I'm gonna mark where the extra shapes are on the template and then use a ruler to connect the lines. And what's really nice about this template is that you don't have to use any measuring, and you're really just using the ruler to draw some straight lines. Although I have put the measurements, the dimensions of everything on the template in case you want to rule it out yourself or change up the dimensions for your own zine holder. Okay, now let's talk about cutting out these panels. So because this bookboard is on the thicker side, you're gonna wanna use a really sharp hobby knife. And I do suggest getting the metal ruler with the cork backing. The cork helps the ruler so it doesn't slide as you're cutting and you accidentally slice your finger. And there's 2 really, really important things you wanna keep in mind as you're using this hobby knife. One is that you want the knife to be at a 90-degree angle straight up and down. So all of the panels that you're cutting out will be nice and square, have nice flat edges. And the second thing, probably the most important thing, is that you're gonna wanna do multiple cuts with the hobby knife. If you start off trying to go all the way through this bookboard, it's gonna be really, really difficult, and you're gonna be much more likely to slip and accidentally cut yourself. So you can start by just very lightly making the first line and then go over it a few times. You can see it's taken me like 4 or 5 times to cut one straight line here. And as you can see, I'm not using the ruler for everything. I feel pretty confident in being able to cut a straight line. But really, if you want a perfectly nice, awesome straight line, definitely use the ruler. Okay, now we got our shapes cut out. I realized I forgot to draw one of the score lines, so I'm going back in and doing that. And hopefully you can see these pencil lines on the camera. Basically, all I'm doing is taking my hobby knife and gently running it over these score lines. And the idea with this is to make the book board easy to bend. So I'm not cutting these pieces out. I'm just very lightly cutting maybe like 1/4 of the way through the book board, just so it's easier to bend into the shape of the zine holder. Okay, I'm repeating the same steps for the second template piece, being real careful about cutting stuff out and being nice and easy with my scoring. And now that I have both of my pieces cut out and scored, it's time to begin assembling the zine holder. So I'm going to start by folding in the score lines, and you can already begin to see how this box fits together. As I was filming this, I realized I made a mistake on my initial template. The fold line should have been on like the other side, the back of the book board, to make it fold in easier. That'll all be fixed in the template that you can download. I don't know if I even mentioned that yet. You can download the free template from the link in the description below. Okay, we got our box. You can see how it all fits together. Now it's time to tape it up. So I'm just cutting out strips of my masking tape and then just neatly laying it over the folds where the pieces need to connect. At the beginning, while you have the two totally separate pieces, it's going to take a little bit of finagling to get everything lined up, but just be patient with it and you'll get things stuck together. Once I've stuck the tape on one piece of the box and kind of folded it over a corner and secured it to the other piece, you'll notice that I have a lot of extra tape kind of hanging off the side. I'm not going to get rid of that excess. I'm going to flip it over and make a straight cut, kind of dividing it into two pieces, and then I'm going to fold each of those pieces over the corner, and it's going to make the box way stronger. And from there, I'm just continuing to tape over every seam, every edge of this box. You can tell I'm not being too strict about the tape being perfectly even, because my thought is that really only the front of the box will be visible. And for me, I'm going to have a black box on some black shelves. It's going to look really cool, and you're not really going to be able to see all of the tape everywhere and all the seams and stuff. So not worried about everything being super even, but if you want to take the time to do that, go for it. This taping process might seem a little tricky at the beginning, but really, it's a lot of fun throwing tape all over this box. And the more tape you put on this thing, the stronger and stronger it gets. I'm actually going to cover up all of the exposed edges of the book board with even more tape, just so the zine holder is like fully blacked out. As you cut the corners and fold them over, you might get a few wrinkles here and there. But if you start by placing the tape on the edge that is facing out first, and then fold it over into the hidden areas, you won't have to worry about any of the wrinkles that pop up here and there. Now, I'm really proud of how these zine holders turned out. They're a tiny bit wonky because they're handmade, but they're actually way more functional than anything else I found, and they're going to be the perfect way to organize my bookshelf. And the cool thing is, once I made one box, then making more got way easier. I think it took me like 15 or so minutes, maybe a little more than 15 minutes to make the third box. And what's really awesome and fun about making these 3 boxes, I've only made 3 so far, but I'm able to collect all of the zines that I've made that are in my online shop and on my Patreon. They all fit into these 3 boxes. So if you'd like to support the channel and get some of the stuff I make, check out my online shop, or you can sign up for my Patreon and get access to all of these zines in digital form and have the new zine that I make each month sent out to you in the mail. I'm actually collecting this box of zines, all 10 of them into a hardback book called Flick Silverpen's Guide to Dragontown and the Darkness Below. It's coming to Kickstarter soon, so keep an eye out for that. I hope you download the template and give making these zine holder boxes a try. It's really fun and easy, and I think Personally, it's the perfect way for organizing my zines on my bookshelf. If you end up making these, let me know how it goes. I'd love to see your collection. And you know, I had so much fun making these. Now I'm thinking about, do I need to get a laser cutter and figure out a way of making these so you don't even have to tape them up? They all like click together, or it's, I don't know, one big piece or something. I'm probably getting way ahead of myself. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!